Good afternoon, everyone. This is T Fields, aka Thug Geek, here with Kimiko and our special guest Tony Cade. If I'm pronouncing that right, the this
Yeah,
is
Tony
season
Cade.
this is season 2, episode 6 of the BlerdSoup podcast, and we're super excited to have Tony here. He is the comic book owner and writer of the comic book shop in Atlanta, Georgia. Kimiko, if you want to take away and introduce our great guest on this great podcast we're about to have today.
Oh yeah, this is Tony Cade of Challenges Games and Comics.
Comics.
Yeah, did I say it right? I always get it mixed up. So, Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit about your current location, where you're located?
Okay, well, right now myself, we're here at North DeKalb Mall. We've been here for the last 8 plus years, and at this point, we're one of the few shops still here at the mall. There's basically the movie theater, the Marshalls, Dollar Tree, a couple of jewelry booths, and the Avon location. Oh, and a barbershop.
Okay, so it's one of these. I guess the malls. A lot of malls in Atlanta are dying nowadays, but I'm glad that you're still one of the few stores that are still open here for now. Now, tell us, like, how long have you had? Have you always been a comic book? Like, how long have you been a comic book owner as far as a comic book shop?
Well, originally and stuff, I started the original shop with my buddy Tim Cummings, and it was actually called Quantum Comics, and we started that way back in like 1994. And
Wow.
at the time and stuff, I was a wedding photographer who was also like bartending on the side. And my buddy Tim and stuff said he wanted to own a comic book shop,
Mhm.
but he had already sold his back issues. And since I still had a lot of my back issues, he asked me to come in with him and be a partner.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's
That's great. So you guys start off at partners first, and that was the first shop you had. How long did you guys work together?
Uh, well, actually, the first incarnation of the shop only lasted like a couple of years
Oh wow.
because along came this thing called the Atlanta 1996 Olympics.
Hmm.
And all of the landlords all over the place started getting stupid about everything. They were basically like, hey, I can temporarily like lease out this spot to these temporary shops
Hmm.
and make like bukus of money. So unfortunately and stuff that during the Olympics we got priced out of our lease. There was nowhere else to go. And so we basically packed the shop up and put it away until after the Olympics. And then
Wow.
after like paying, lease space for all of the products and stuff we had, I went ahead by myself and reopened back up
Mhm.
and called the shop the Dragon's Horde, HORDE. And that's
Great
when we
name.
like
That's a great name.
seriously started getting into doing gaming along with comics.
Okay. Now,
oh,
is
that's
that
dope.
one thing you kind of noticed though by having a comic book shop? Is that is it good to go hand in hand with the physical games as well as the comics, or is it better just have one or the other?
Well, like I said, I got more into the games. I've been playing chess since I was like 9 years old,
Hmm.
but I never like seriously got into like the board games. I mean, back then and stuff, it was just like Monopoly and Uno and stuff like that. But now and stuff is like the extent of like what board games are now and
Right.
all of
And
the European import games. That's something that really caught on like much later.
mhm.
Yeah, I noticed that you have, well, I've been in your shop already, so I'm cheating a little bit.
Same here.
But on the far right side, you have like things that you can paint, the miniatures, and then behind you has my favorite game series, Munchkins, and then to the left of you, you have Catan, Legacy, and all these awesome games. Like, which ones of these are you most actively playing, or which ones are people most actively playing at your shop?
Well, right now during the pandemic, a lot of the two-player games have been like really popular and
Mhm.
stuff. So you've got games like Seven Wonders Duel, which has been like really popular.
Mhm.
A lot of people have started going back to playing games like Magic the Gathering.
Yep, that's my
Any games
stuff.
and stuff that you could, yeah, any game that you can play with like two or three people have been really popular during the pandemic. But like I said, we sell a little bit of everything here.
What
We've got like a bunch of the legacy games where you need big groups. You know, we've got a little bit of everything here.
No, what about Warhammer? You guys doing like any big games, like big tabletop games with different sets and stuff too, or no?
Oh yeah, we do Warhammer up here Saturdays at 2 o'clock. People come in, play, 500-point games, 1,000-point games, 2,000-point games.
Oh, wow.
Our miniature group has, even during the pandemic, a lot of our role players haven't come back, and some of our board gamers haven't come back. But our miniature gamers and our card gamers
They're there.
have pretty much come back in force.
Now, is
Now,
this still,
speaking of,
is it more like
go
older
ahead.
people that's still playing it, like our older generation from the 80s and 70s, or is it a lot of newcomers coming on board with that too?
Oh, it's like 80s and 70s. Yeah. Okay, no. We've got people here playing these games of all ages.
Nice.
We've got, elementary and middle school kids and stuff that are coming up here playing. Matter of fact, we, years ago, it was kind of weird and stuff. We actually did like a little push through some of the scout groups and some of the church groups and started getting a lot of kids into playing Magic the Gathering.
Nice.
And they were like little short kids like this. And now they're all starting to go off in college and they're all like 6'3", And I'm just like, man, I remember when he was like the littlest thing in here. Now he's taller than everybody.
And it's straight nerd, and it's straight blurting
we've
out.
got
That's
players of all ages. We used to actually do a Magic tournament for kids 16 and under.
Mhm.
And the first time we did a pre-release tournament, they played against the adults. And once the kids found out that they could beat the adults, they didn't want to do a kids tournament anymore.
They wanted everybody.
And now, the young kids are like some of the most vicious players that we have. There was this one store that did a championship tournament, and they did like some sealed product, and they showed a picture of their top 8 players. 5 of those players were, young kids from my store. So out of their top
impressive.
8, most of the players that were in the top were from my store, and they were all kids.
Now, do you have a certified judge that comes to the tournaments, or are you the judge?
No, we actually have a certified judge who's on staff.
Oh, nice.
His name is Cayman, and he actually also handles our singles.
Nice.
Because he's got one of those brains
Yeah.
that like just absorbs information.
Yeah.
And he memorizes most of the cards, and he knows what they are. So when someone comes in saying, hey, isn't there a card that goes blah, 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 blah? And he's like, yeah, that's this.
Yep.
That's which is something I couldn't do. Which is kind of, weird and stuff because they used to actually aggravate my professors in college. Because, a lot of math professors play chess. And I used to beat my math professors all the time. And they were like, how is it you can beat me in this, but you can't get my work?
Like it's a different world, sir. It's a different world.
Yeah, and like I said, everybody's brain is wired differently. Mine isn't good as far as memorization, but when it comes to problem solving, it's really good. It's like even with like Catan, I have people who literally come up here to the store and challenge me in Catan just to see if they can beat me.
So what's the record then? They still ain't nobody beat you yet?
There are the few that beat me, but they usually had to like work in teams to defeat me.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Just sitting at the top like seafood, just challenge me. That's fantastic. So one
that's
thing I've
awesome.
always had a question was, I know some of the people too is like, so how do comics actually make money? Because the comic itself is very a little dollar amount, correct?
Well, are you talking about making comics or just selling comics?
Selling comics.
Which one?
Both. Selling comics. Selling comics in the comic store.
Well, all right. Most comic shops, if they're doing any orders of any significant sizes,
Right. The special orders.
most comic shops are getting their comics at 50% off.
Okay.
All right. So if you've got like, a $3.99 comic, you're selling it, for $4, but you only paid $2 for it.
Okay.
So with comics, is actually a pretty decent markup compared to like most products. Like for most board games, we're lucky if we can get the board game at 40% off, and that's even ordering it directly from the company.
Oh, wow.
All right. So which is why when you see like, some, online places like Amazon,
Yeah.
where it's like they've got like a $40 board game and they're selling it for like $27.99, it's like, okay, they're making $3 off the board game, but they're trying to make their money by selling it in mass.
Correct. Like 100,000 of them. That's why it adds up. Yeah.
Right. Which is really bad and stuff because people go on Amazon and they think that the Amazon price is like the actual price, and it's like that's not the real price.
Right.
You
But
know,
and
and
that's
I'm usually like straight up honest with people and stuff. It's
yeah.
like, you know, even when you have like games like Magic the Gathering, people will be like, hey, you know, I saw this, you know, box of, you know, Magic online, and this place was only charging, you know, $90 for the entire box.
You like go there then.
You know, so that means you're getting the box for like $45,
Right.
$50, right? It's like, no, I paid $80 to $85 for that box, and this guy is selling it for only $5 or $6 profit. You know, unfortunately, I can't afford to do that.
Exactly.
You know, this employee that I got right here makes twice that much every hour. So there's no way I'm selling entire boxes, you know, making $6 off the freaking box.
Right. Unless you were selling like literally 100,000 a day, then that would definitely make sense. But it's not. So it
Right, but that's not happening.
But what's cool about your store is that I haven't seen from other comic book stores or gaming stores is that you actually charge people to actually sit at, you know, play games at your store on the desk, but you make it into, you gamify it into a loyalty system. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Oh, well, one of the things that we were doing for like when people come in and play Dungeons and Dragons here at the store. All right, we don't. Well, I guess you can say we charge them to come in and play, but it's not really a charge. The way it would usually work is that everybody except for the game master, everybody who's playing in the game, basically pays $5 to play.
okay.
And the way it works is that $1 of that goes into the store credit of the game master, so that he could use it for buying all the materials that he needs to run the game,
Mm.
because he's the one that's creating the entertainment for everybody else.
Right.
All right, the other $4 goes into the store credit of the player, so that whenever they need to like buy books or miniatures or anything else and stuff for their character or anything else that we happen to carry here in the store, they've got the store credit built up to make the purchase. So it's a situation where we aren't technically charging, but we're just making it so that you can like store money away to actually spend money here in my store. You know, it's not like I remember like back in the day, we used to like host tournaments of when Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 came out. And everybody would go and buy their book off of that Amazon
Right.
and then come into my store for the free gameplay. And I was like, hold up, that's not how it works. You know, this
Hustling
is like a
backwards.
service for my customers.
Right.
If you buy the game for cheaper online, you know, but you want to come, you know, play the game here for free. And, you know, I'm like, well, hey, why don't you go play on Amazon? And it's like, you can't play on Amazon. They're like, there you go. You know, and the whole thing about it is and stuff is that people want you to have stuff and have products in stock, and they want you to sell stuff to them cheap, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
And it's like, look at it right now. That's why like most of the malls are dying, because there's no stores around to pay the rent for the malls, because everybody wants to shop online.
Yeah. The anchor
Which I
stores.
understand. It's convenient.
Yep.
Well, they don't anchor stores, you know, are around, some still, but then what about all the stores in the center of the mall?
Exactly.
You know,
For the walkthrough.
what happened to Payless Shoes?
Yep.
Where's Avenue? Where's a Gap store?
Exactly.
You know, where's all the stores that used to be around in the 80s that would be in the malls?
Yep.
You know, they're gone. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
why don't they exist?
it's not like it's a comic book store in Buckhead Mall, which I don't think.
Well, like I said, how are the comic shops supposed to pay? You know, like I said, you know, there's malls like Lenox that have all these high-end stores, you know, but like I said, every mall can't have an Apple store,
Exactly.
you know. So it's like, okay, how are you supposed to pay the rent?
Right. I guess
And nobody thinks about that until that affects their jobs.
exactly.
And all of a sudden they're wondering, it's like, well, why can't I make any money? Or why can't I go to get a job over here? It's almost like when you go to places and stuff and they've got self-checkout. I'm pretty much like, okay, I could go to the self-checkout. All right.
Right.
But that only gives them an excuse not to hire employees to work.
Yeah.
You know, so by not using self-checkout, I'm helping make sure that they keep stores.
But there's still 20 other
know,
lanes
keep
that's
them
down the street
employed.
too, though. That's the thing. It's like 20 other lanes So it's like I got self checkout. These 20 lanes that nobody's working, and another self checkout. That's interesting.
Well, that's one of the things and stuff too. Is like I like going to Publix. I know I'm gonna spend a little bit more money at Publix,
Yeah.
but Publix doesn't have a self checkout. Okay, they are actually hiring employees to work in there and give you really good customer service.
Mm.
They even have people and stuff to like take your card out to your food and help you load it in your
Right. The
vehicle.
original grocery
And
store was supposed to do.
right, right,
Yeah.
you know.
Can I help you with
But like I
those,
said,
ma'am?
it's a situation where it's like, okay, for me to get this quality of service,
Yeah.
I have to be willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
I remember one time and stuff, I was on a date and we went to a bookstore and the young lady went and she found a book that she liked.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and, check out. And then she's like, nah, I'm not going to get it now. It's like, well, why aren't you going to get it now? If this is the one you came here to the store,
Right. They
you
got
found it, you looked through it to make sure it's what you wanted. So why aren't you going to get it? And then she's like, well, I can get it cheaper on Amazon. And then I'm like, yeah, but see, Amazon wasn't like here in this location, for you to find this and have it in stock and
Yeah.
look at it in this well-lit building,
Right.
you know,
I
and
always
then
find
she
it
was pretty
interesting
much
though
like,
that people are willing to
yeah,
wait
I'm
the
just gonna get
next
it off of
day.
Amazon.
Yeah. But it's like it's right there, like it's
So I
really
was
in her hand. She's like, I'll wait for Amazon. What? It's in your hand.
right.
You can go home with
And
it.
I'll be straight up honest. We had a really great time that evening, and I never called her back.
I mean, you got to support the mom and pop shops. Like even my local comic book shop up here, I go to it all the time. That's where I mean, yeah, I can go to freaking Barnes and Noble and get books and stuff like that. But I'm like, no, I'd rather go to a local shop and get it there. I mean,
Well,
plus you guys
Barnes
got the
and Noble,
knowledge,
it's the knowledge,
yeah,
and we specialize in it.
right?
You know,
Like why go to a person that may not know the stuff, but I can go to you and like yes, that was issue number 17. It happened with this and this. Like that's knowledge you can't Google that half the time. That's
So
fantastic.
true.
I know we know that you're a comic book owner, but you're also a comic book writer. So tell us about this comic that you've written, a series of comics.
well, like I said, years ago when we were on Memorial Drive, I originally started off, and we had classes in my store,
Yeah.
and we used to have art classes, and we also had like a screenwriters group that used to come and meet. And so, like one day, I was kind of like thinking, it's like, okay, well, why don't I get the two books together and see if we can take the people here that apparently have talent and actually start doing our own comics. And that's how we first did our first book, and we put it out under the name of Terminus Media because Terminus used to be the name of Atlanta back in the day. And we started producing our own anthology books because I remember back in the time, I think I was talking to like Brian Stelfreeze, who's a local artist who's like famous for doing art for both Marvel and DC. And he pointed out that if a writer can write an 8-page story with a setup, conflict resolution, a grand argument, that you could write anything.
Yeah.
And so that was the challenge we put forth. Each one of the writers in the screenwriters group was supposed to write an 8-page story.
Mhm.
And then we had the teachers and the students from the art class to actually draw them up for us.
Hmm.
And then from there, we went on and actually started doing work for corporations like Nitto Tire. We did motion comics projects for the Center for Disease Control. And these were going pretty good. But we did the little rock star thing that to a certain point and stuff, everybody started like breaking up
Doing their own thing,
and
getting their own
doing
albums.
their own thing. So basically, I was pretty much out of doing the whole indie comics thing. But a couple of the artists that I worked with in the past approached me like a week apart, and both of them were like, "Hey, man, we want to do a comic with you with the character you created." And I was like, "Well, I don't know," and stuff. But then I thought that, okay, if two people on like different halves of the world are contacting me like a week apart, to do something,
Right.
then maybe I'm supposed to do it. And so I decided that, okay, we're going to put this together. and I went in and did some rewrites and some recreations and created a new character called Autumn Fox. And then we produced the Fox Chronicles. And so that's the most recent book that I just came out with and stuff. And we had a successful Kickstarter, and just recently got all of the issues mailed out to all of the backers.
Very impressive. What's been your experience with Kickstarter? How do you what? How I mean, how does yours work out?
I mean, it was my very first one that I'd actually done by myself. We had like close to 400 backers, and we raised over $11,000.
That's very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, I was really nervous because, like I said, I'd never actually done one, by myself, and even the ones and stuff that I'd helped do only raised like 5,000. And right off the bat, we had already set our goal at like $6,000, to be able to produce this book. So I wanted it to be of like really good quality, and I brought in like some really good cover artists and some really good interior artists, and made sure that I had professional lettering and everything for the book.
Now I saw that you had some variants. Tell us about your variances and the differences between them as far as quality and stuff like that.
I wouldn't really say it's a different quality. We did like different styles. Like our main cover for the Kickstarter was by Fritz Cassis, who did the interiors for the book, and it was a wraparound cover, which was like really really good. It showed like once you read the story, you can see that a lot of hints about what was going on in the story is actually on the cover of the book. All right, and then we had my buddy Leveda. She went and did like a really nice animation style cover. She can do like a lot of different styles. She's like really, really, talented. And then we also had, Marcus Williams of Tuskegee Airs fame. He came in and did a cover for us. And then we had another one of my friends come in and stuff who had actually worked on Image Comics back in the day from Dark Horse. And he came in and did a nice little sci-fi cover that we call our foil cover because we put some foil accents on it. But even the other ones have like a UV coating, and they basically feel like they're embossed. So when you actually feel the characters, on the cover, you can actually feel the textures.
Yep, and boss printing is fantastic. I love that type of printing. Like I want to touch it. Yeah, get it all day. That's fantastic, man. How long is the series gonna be going on for? Have you ever set like
Um,
so many books?
well, like I said, right now and stuff, we've got like 3 books planned out for this storyline. But it depends on the popularity of it. If people want more, we'll keep producing them.
Very impressive, man. Well,
You
definitely.
know,
Now, is this the
usually
only
when
book
I
you've done so
write,
far, or you got other books
hmm?
planned? You have other different design or other different comic styles you're looking to do besides this one?
No, like I said, this wasn't supposed to be me getting back into comic book publishing. It's like when I was with Terminus and stuff as the editor in chief. We put out anthology books. We put out Route 3. We put out the Gilded Age. We put out Geist. We were producing a bunch of different books. But like I said, this was basically the artist coming to me saying they wanted to do something for me, and me having like an idea of something that I wanted to put out there. Because to me, storytelling is like what kind of knowledge or what kind of you know message you want to put out there to make people think.
Right.
And so with this storyline, I'm actually doing a storyline where I'm trying to pass some knowledge onto something.
Hmm.
It's pretty much like one of the things we learned when we were doing a project for the Center for Disease Control. We were doing the Sabito method, which is basically knowledge through entertainment, where you basically you know give knowledge to people without them feeling that you're teaching at them or preaching at them.
Yeah.
You actually just tell a really good
Story.
story and have the knowledge blended into the story. Which is amazing how it works because when we were working for the CDC, we were doing a story about HIV and AIDS awareness. All right. and there's like a whole bunch of like heavy stuff,
Yeah.
knowledge to put out about a subject like that. But we were able to create this story, which is like a comedy drama that people really got into, and they basically gave them a test before when we're doing the research groups to see what their knowledge was about HIV and AIDS awareness, and they gave them a test afterwards, and it was really easy to see how much people were picking up. But I still remember like during one of them, it's like one young lady after she watched it, she was like, "I thought you guys were supposed to be teaching us about HIV and AIDS awareness," and we all kind of like just started looking at each other, and she watched the entire thing and didn't realize that we had given her this knowledge because she was so caught up in the story.
Story, yep.
So with the Fox Chronicles, that's one of the things and stuff I was doing. It's like I'm giving you this really cool story, and I'm dropping you knowledge, and you just wait and see if you actually pick up on the knowledge that I'm dropping.
Exactly.
I know I'm being a little mysterious here because I don't want to give it away to people.
Yeah.
But if you read the first issue, it's like an origin issue, but it's leading in to the major subject matter that the story is going to be dealing with.
Right. How far did you go with the comic?
Well, like I said, we just put out the first one. It literally just came out less than a month ago.
No, I'm talking about the CDC one.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, turned into a motion comic, okay. And I think they broke it up into like 7 different parts.
Oh, nice. That's real. That's super, super real. So speaking of which, though, so let's get down to the comic book world of things. So one thing I got to ask, what is your favorite, like, I guess want to say was it Golden Age, Silver Age? What's your favorite age of comics?
I don't know if I can answer that because I like the new stuff.
Right.
I would basically say that, from the time that I actually started reading, comics were like, 25 cents. Man, I'm old. But yeah, that's the stuff that I liked. I liked the stuff when, people like Marv Wolfman and George Perez, were first starting their careers, and now it's like so sad and stuff that, they're retiring,
right.
from the business.
Especially with Perez,
but
that's
the characters that they created are still like beloved.
Right.
I remember, John Byrne and, Chris Claremont, not from when they were doing the X-Men, but from when they were doing Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah, you're not just only. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying my OG is still Jack Kirby. I mean, everything Jack Kirby for me is just. And then my favorite artist outside me, rest in peace, Michael Turner. But like, I mean, oh man.
Unfortunately, he's gone too.
Yeah. Michael Turner,
his artwork is gorgeous.
Oh, his dictation of Superman is fantastic. Like I don't know, no one else can. But for me, his Superman is what Superman would be in real life.
Well, what about John Byrne's Superman? John Byrne's Superman with the little S curl?
It's the curl, man. Like I want Superman to feel like I don't like the Boy Scout. I like to I'm here to mess shit up. That's the Superman I like to feel. Like I want to be like that's Apocalypse over there. I want the smoke.
Okay.
I don't want the Superman.
So you like the Superman from that new Injustice movie?
No, I didn't like the movie itself.
You didn't like the Injustice movie?
God no, that was horrible. Because I played the games and stuff too, and it's just the movie was just like it was done so wrong. This is the way they did Flash. They did Flash so dirty. The fastest man alive got owned by a basic person.
Man, I remember like the original storylines of Injustice, and also Flashpoint were like off the chain.
Exactly. I mean, I still got beef with Batman. Like everybody's like, "Oh, Batman this, Batman." I'm like, Batman gets beat by a clown on the regular, but y'all always want to talk about prep time. But yeah, here he goes taking on Superman and winning, but he can't be the Joker. Like, he can't be simple stuff. He can't whatever.
Well, he's beaten the Joker repeatedly. But
like he sends him home.
Everybody keeps pointing out he hasn't killed the Joker.
Exactly. He sends him home. He's like, all right, thanks for the fight. Now go back to prison. And knowing he's getting out, it's like Batman, you've indirectly killed so many people, it's ridiculous.
But see, that's indirectly. You can't do it on purpose. And just to be honest about it stuff, if a character of the power level of Superman was not a Boy Scout,
yeah,
everybody would fear him and everybody would go after him.
he'd be Homelander.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, everybody be like, man, Lex Luthor was right.
But Lex Luthor is right, though. I respect Lex Luthor the whole time. He's like, yo, I mean, even though at the end of the day, he's just jealous. It's just jealousy at the end of the day. But even Batman agrees, like, bro, just in case this dude act out of hand, we both got the smoke ready, right?
Yeah. Hey, like those people instead of, hey, Killmonger was right.
Yeah.
I always say to this day that if Killmonger had just treated people with a little bit of respect,
he would have had his way.
He could have had everything he wanted, but he wanted to get in there and start disrespecting people.
Well, that's the same thing. Like we talk about it on with the Walking Dead TV show. Like if Sean's still alive, he would have killed the governor right away. He's like, nah, Brick, you gotta go, bro. You gotta go. Like, he ain't up to no good. Like it's certain characters you just like, no, they wouldn't have played with that at all. But then again, like it's I love the comic book genre of talking about stuff it's like it doesn't exist at all, but we're all invested in it because all the characters we read about. So especially for me, like one of my favorite characters, well, superhero wise, is Green Lantern. Like I love Green Lantern, but it feels like nobody can do the movies right.
Which Green Lantern?
Oh! So you went there. So Hal Jordan's my favorite one, but I respect Alan Scott all day, and I love Kyle. Kyle he was okay. So Kyle. Yeah, he was by himself. But then again, he became Parallax too because he had so many freaking problems. So it's like but I just love that Emerald Dawn because to see, I mean, everybody knows like to see freaking Hal just snaps Sinestro's neck like it's nothing. I'm just like, bruh, you're finally here. And then get the Mr. Fantastic sideburns, just like, oh, something's different's going on with Hal. But yeah, even though he has some of the wackest stuff he makes with his ring, he's like that's like a true superhero. He's like, he's there, he's there to win. He's not gonna give up. And then plus his beef with Batman is just great.
I'm starting to suspect you like characters with a little bit of edge to them.
Oh yeah, I love anti-heroes and heroes.
You into like the anti-heroes.
Yes, I very much love the anti-heroes. I love the Venoms. I love the Lobos. I love the people who's like, you got the check, I'll fight them. Like especially Lobo. Lobo like, I'll fight Supes. I don't care. You got the money, I'm there. I don't even need the money. I'm bored. But some heroes, like I said, is Hal Jordan, but I love the Parallax version and I love Sinestro. Sinestro's one of my favorite characters as well too. But my favorite character of all time is Victor Von Doom. I mean, can't get enough of Doom.
Who is that now?
Doom.
Okay.
Dr. Doom.
I can't disagree with you because I'm a humongous Fantastic Four fan.
Same here.
If it wasn't for the Fantastic Four, I probably wouldn't even be in this business.
Yep.
I remember, my dad used to bring home, some Batman and DC comics every once in a while. But when I actually went to the convenience store myself to pick up comics, I gravitated to the Fantastic Four because I remember seeing reruns as a kid from the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Mm-hmm. And, that was like when I really started picking up like Marvel comics and started realizing there was this thing called continuity. And that each issue, built on what happened before.
Right.
And so through the Fantastic Four, I was introduced to what are today still some of my favorite characters. Like I said, I like me some Dr. Doom. I like me some Black Panther. The Fantastic Four introduced me to Luke Cage.
Yep.
They introduced me to the Submariner.
Namor, that's my
so these are like still some of my favorite characters. Yeah. And it was because I was introduced to them through the Fantastic Four. Yeah.
And plus, those characters don't give a shit. Like Namor, anytime, like Namor's like, yeah, come down here, come in the water. I love for you to do it. Love for you to talk stuff. Like I love him and Doom's interactions all the time, where they're both just like, yeah, we don't care. I don't care.
Shoot, back in the day, man, I used to love getting issues of super villain team up.
So how do you feel? Because look
at the Kimberly over there, like I have no idea what they're talking about.
No, I actually some of the comics that my dad used to, because my dad was a big, huge comic nerd. Like he literally sold some comics just to buy a car. So that's how much comics he had. So like
I remember when I was a teenager, I was gonna do that, and my father threatened to beat my buttocks.
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm so glad he did.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were in San Diego then, and that's when he really needed it. So he actually did that out of love for his family. Good old me and my mom at the time. But some of the original comics that I used to read from him was the Fantastic Four, Thor, Hulk, and I loved the Wolverine series. That's before I saw that they had X-Men. And yeah, so when you guys are talking about this, I'm in memory lane about all the comics I used to read, back then. So
Like strangely enough, it's like Wolverine. It's like I love him as member of a
Weapon
team.
X.
I loved him in X-Men. I loved him even when he was a member of the Avengers.
Yeah.
I have never liked reading his individual book.
I liked Old Man Logan though. Old Man Logan was good. I would give him credit for that. Old Man Logan was super solid. But yeah, his original stuff is he's only good with team. Like I want more X Force stuff though. I mean, I wish they would have did an X Force movie already because X Force is like it's the violence that you want. Because this squad is like, yo, go kill everybody. Like we ain't here to save the day. We're here to end this. Like I love the X Force. All the X Force stuff is just pure super violence and just fun. It's like go do what you guys are meant to do. Don't hold back. Bruce Wayne's acting crazy. Warcraft's acting crazy. Just pure. Just I love X Force. But yeah, but back to Fantastic Four. I mean, they have the upcoming movie that'll be coming out, I guess, in 2-3 years. And people are like, oh, they're gonna bring in Doom early. I'm like, you cannot bring in Doom until you bring in Mr. Fantastic. Like, you can't have that. Like, Reed, if you can't have Doom before Reed. Like, you just can't do it. How do you feel about that?
I was just trying to think about it. It's like, why can't you bring in Doom? Doom is. I mean, to me, I'm still waiting for them to properly do Doom on the screen.
Yeah, it's
They've
sad.
done
It's been 3
three
times.
Fantastic Four movies, and they have not done Doctor Doom correctly yet.
And how do you mess up? That's the thing. Like, how do you mess up such a simple concept of comic? Literally, like Incredibles did it. Incredibles was basically Fantastic Four done right. But we've had 3 movies now. Like, how do you keep messing up Doom? Like, how do you mess up a simple? You take Iron Man and you take
No,
Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Doom does not have electrical powers.
Right. You take magic and you take technology. That's Doctor Doom. Walk away.
Well, you at least first got to start off with the technology.
Right.
You could bring the sorcery part in later when you talk about his mama and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But from the get go, it's like this should all be like dude's got a suit of armor, and it's got to like, okay, you think that Iron Man is awesome? No, check out this dude.
Exactly. Because did you watch Loki at all over the summer?
Oh
yeah. Because I'm super excited to see Kang coming. Because Kang is no joke. I love Kang. Because especially Kang and Doom interaction in the comics is just fantastic. I mean, Doom interaction with any other villain is always a great time.
Well, hey, since you brought it up and stuff, there were a bunch of scenes from Loki that were filmed right here at North DeKalb Mall.
Really?
Yeah. All right. You remember when they were outside and it was a thunderstorm and they were outside the Roxanne Mart?
Yeah. That was North DeKalb Mall?
The Roxanne Mart is the front of the Macy's.
Wow. I never put 2 and 2 together.
Right there, if you're standing in the parking lot of the Golden Corral, and you look over at the mall and you see what used to be the Macy's, that's the Roxanne Mart.
Man, I know wow, that's crazy.
When they show the interior of the Roxanne Mart, all right, that's actually inside the mall, and that's in the spot that used to be the Ross department store.
So were you over there watching them filming? Were you over there getting behind the scenes?
Oh yeah, that nighttime scene and stuff when they were creating the lightning and the storm.
Yeah,
that was awesome. I was over there watching it.
What other movies were also filmed over there at North DeKalb Mall? I know the Luke Cage
Zombieland
series.
2. Zombieland 2 was filmed over here. Also, they did all 3 of the Fear Street movies.
I haven't watched that yet. I have not watched those yet. I know those on Netflix.
Yeah. You can actually see our challenges sign in the Fear Street movie.
Oh, did you get a credit? Let me get a royalty.
Well, actually, even do you guys watch Cobra Kai?
Really? Of course. Okay. Did you watch the current season? That's the question.
Of course I did. Okay, well, with Cobra Kai, remember season 2, the fight that starts in the comic book shop?
Yeah, that's your shop?
That's right here.
What?
Yes. That's right here in the shop. right over in the corner next to the comics. As a matter of fact, when you look at that scene, if you look to your right, all right, when that's on the screen and the fight starts, all of those comics over there are by indie creators, most of them from right here in Atlanta. I actually composed that scene to make sure that everybody got some love on the screen.
That's awesome.
Aww.
You know, and while they were here filming, we actually taught a bunch of the actors how to play Magic the Gathering,
Mhm.
and they still come by here to the shop to pick up product and play sometimes.
Oh, that's dope.
So yeah, Hawk was in here like a couple of weeks ago, picking up some Magic cards.
Awesome. That is awesome. Cobra Kai is.
And Miguel has come and actually played in some of our pre-release tournaments.
Mm.
It was because they're going to get ready to start filming season 5 too now. Season 4 is
yeah.
off the hook because Terry. I love Terry. Like for me, Karate Kid Part 3 is my favorite movie from the Karate Kid series because Terry's just a menace, and he did the same exact thing in the TV show. I'm like, yes, just keep it violent, Terry. Just keep it violent. Because I like Terry because he breaks stuff down mentally. Like he breaks you down mentally. Like what he did at the end with Kreese, I'm just like, stop. Your own homie.
You saw it coming though. You saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean you can't trust Terry. This thing, like I don't know what Kreese thought he was gonna happen. Like, yo, we won this tournament. I'm here to make more money. I'm a millionaire already. It's like I'm gonna stop making money with this karate. No. Yeah. That's crazy.
Wait, did you guys see Naomi yet?
I have not seen Naomi.
Okay. Well, there's a scene in Naomi on the first episode where she's visiting, try not to give away spoilers, but she's visiting this comic book record store. And the comic books that are in that scene are actually provided by Challenges Games and Comics.
Were you ever in any Black Lightning at all? That was my favorite. That was my favorite show, man. Black Lightning was off the hook.
No, I wasn't. But actually, scenes from Black Lightning were actually shot here at North DeKalb Mall.
I was saying because Atlanta was basically the place, the location, the TV show. They just renamed it.
Oh yeah.
Everything I'm like, that's Atlanta. That's Atlanta. That's Atlanta.
But like I said, I have met actually some of the actors and stuff right here in the mall.
Right, because don't you guys just have that like Atlantic Sci-Fi show that usually happens in the mall?
The Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, the year that we were supposed to actually have them as guests was the year we had to cancel the show because of the pandemic.
Oh, man.
How many years did you run the Sci-Fi Expo there at the North DeKalb Mall?
5 years.
Yeah, I really liked it. Whenever I did, I think I started participating on year 3 or something like that. But yeah, it was pretty dope just to be able to walk around and just see a mall full of comics and vendors and just all the different activities that was going on there.
It was nice to see a full mall.
Right, right.
Because of the expo.
Did the mall like working with you doing that every year? It was like, yo, go for it. Like we just want more people coming here.
They loved it. Actually, little insider is like the first year they actually charged us to use the mall, but it was so successful that they were like, "No, we're not charging you. You go for it."
That's dope.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So is the mall owned by one person, or is it owned by like a bank or a company now?
Well, it's gone through 2 different ownerships since that time. When we first started doing it, it was owned by Herndon. Then another company took over, and then this past September, Eden's took over. But basically, everybody's game plan for the mall isn't really to like own a mall.
Yeah.
What everybody wants to do is tear it down and put up condos.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got condos over here that are across the street from the QT, going for $400,000, that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Or housing
turn into an Amazon distribution.
Outrageous right now.
Yeah.
I got customers complaining that their rent for their apartments is like $1,500. And I remember $1,500 you could get you a mini mansion here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're trying to $1,500 rent in Decatur. That's crazy.
Oh, the cater is like the bomb now. You know, like I said, gentrification has started hitting a bunch of areas too. It's like, like I said, I'm old. I remember when houses and stuff, in East Atlanta were valued at like, $60,000.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now
Exactly.
the exact same house is
Yep.
$600,000. And the only thing that has changed is the people living inside the house.
That's it.
I get, calls all the time and stuff, about, hey, we're a investment company, blah, blah, blah. We'd like to buy your home. And one day I was just pretty much like, look, how much you gonna give me for my home? And they were like, 200,000. And it's like, okay, if I sell you my home for 200,000, where am I gonna go live?
Right. Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
I definitely ain't gonna go get no apartment on $1,500.
No.
No.
And it's like, where am I gonna buy a house for $200,000 now? And they were like, Douglasville. It's like, okay, what kind of sense does that make? I live in Stone Mountain now. Okay, I work in Decatur, and you guys want me to go to Douglasville to
Right.
buy a house? I don't think so. Who wants to drive up and down 20 to get home? I don't. So
Gentrification
the
is very
housing
real, y'all.
market is outrageous right now. And what is it? Not even 10, 12 years ago. I
No,
mean,
it's exactly.
I know that's a long time for like young people.
No, I had a
Like
3-bedroom
me
house
over
in
there.
Alpharetta, Tony, for 50. I was literally paying $600 a month for a 3-bedroom house in Alpharetta, and that was really 10
Yeah.
years ago. That is not existing now. That is not existing
No,
now.
well, remember like 10, 12 years ago, everybody was losing the value on their home.
Exactly.
All right, so all of a sudden you go from like losing tens of thousands of dollars on the value of your home to now the home is quadrupled in value. What happened?
Right.
It's
like,
the same home.
Not
That's why to
redesigned.
me and stuff, a lot of the stuff of like finances and money and everything, it's like it's all made up.
Yeah.
It's all made up, and stuff gets hot when they say it's hot.
Mm.
So one thing I want to ask you though, like, are you hip to like NFTs and cryptocurrency at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
No,
Because
because
I don't trust any of that stuff.
Mhm.
To me, all of that stuff is like pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
It's just like during the pandemic, all of a sudden, Pokemon cards skyrocket in value.
Skyrocketed. Skyrocketed.
Okay, and I'm like, you're not even doing any Pokemon tournaments because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
They're selling them.
Why are these cards that were sitting on my shelves? I mean, literally sitting on the shelves. I would sell Pokemon to like kids every once in a while when they come in with their parents.
Yep.
And then at their parents, can they get a couple of packs?
That was it.
The product was just sitting there. All of a sudden during this pandemic, some YouTube influencer talks about all this money and stuff he made off of his Pokemon that he bought. And then all of a sudden I got these grown adults coming in,
Buying boxes.
every bit of Pokemon I've got, going to McDonald's and buying Happy Meals and throwing away the food so they can get the limited edition Pokemon card out of it. And I'm just like, okay, where was all this? It's like even right now and stuff, supposedly people are pushing that the Marvel trading cards from the 80s and 90s
Yep, the flashcards
are worth money now. And it's like they weren't worth money 10 years ago.
Exactly.
They weren't worth money 5 years ago. Why are they worth money now?
So that's interesting that you say that too, because why then comic grades are still worth money though? What causes that? Like, why is that not transferring back and forth? Because for me, I feel like it's just the same concept. But you have your comic book grades that are sell. You have your rare comics that sell for a certain amount, especially if they're signed and sell for a certain amount. I mean, is that not the same thing with Pokemon cards?
Well, all right. Here's the thing about it. All right, it's basically what is it? Okay, that's one of the reasons stuff here. We have no problem with like Magic the Gathering.
Exactly.
Magic the Gathering is the collectible card game, and we sell singles of that. Okay, it's basically you can buy Magic cards to make your deck better.
Yep.
So you can win tournaments, so you can get prizes. Okay. Now there's the old cards that are no longer printed, which are basically collector's items
Exactly.
like dual lands and the Power 9 cards, which are, like I said, are cool, overpowered collector's items.
Exactly.
They said that they're never going to reprint them or anything. Okay, that's a collector's thing. But as far as anything else, like a comic, and you go and you get it graded, that's cool if you're gonna sell it, but because somebody takes it, grades it, and puts it in a piece of hard plastic, all of a sudden it's worth 5 times
Yeah.
what it would regularly be.
Mhm.
That's I call BS. You know,
Really?
it's
That's
like
it. So as a
you
comic
know,
book owner, you like, wow, like really? Like that's it's on my shelf right now for $10, but now it's worth 50,000. That's crazy.
like, it's like right now. Like I said, I remember the '90s. I remember all the variant covers, all this other kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and people like buying stuff, like buying Spawn #1, thinking they're gonna like put their kids through college off of Spawn #1.
Mhm.
Like to this day, I tell people you should be reading comics because you enjoy reading
Reading
comics.
comics, yeah.
If you wind up getting a comic book that winds up being worth money, that's just gravy.
Yeah.
It's like, I was reading, New Mutants because I enjoyed the New Mutants.
Right. Not because X-23
Okay.
is first issue.
Right. All right. Now, all right. They introduced this character called Deadpool,
Yep.
who was a straight up ripoff of Deathstroke the Terminator from
Slade.
DC Comics.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. This character winds up being the Deadpool that becomes really, really popular. Okay. That's luck up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Now, I had that comic because why? I was reading
New Mutants.
New Mutant. Okay. So that's the gravy of it. Me personally, I've never liked Deadpool. I never cared about Deadpool. I saw my first appearance of Deadpool for $600. It goes for thousands now. I don't care. You know, I wasn't really into the character. You know, so I'm into collecting the characters that I want to collect, and I could care less about the money. People ask me all the time. It's like, oh, you've got X-Men #1. Why don't you sell it? And I'm like,
I bought it. It's mine.
why? If I sell it, I'm gonna get money for it. Okay. What do I mainly do with money? I don't know about you, but I mainly pay bills. That was one of the things that used to kill me.
You don't Scrooge McDuck, Tony. You don't Scrooge McDuck. Just dive in your money, relax a little bit. The backstroke.
No, it's like money is like it's used to pay bills.
It's tools. Yep, it's a tool.
And to me, what's more impressive? I have X-Men #1, or I pay my mortgage this month. A whole bunch of dudes pay their mortgage every month.
Yeah.
How many dudes can say they got X-Men #1?
That's true.
Okay. And it's like, okay, I got X-Men #1. Is it a 9.8 grade? No, it's not. But do you have a 9.8 grade? No, you don't.
Right.
Okay. I own it. It's like, shoot, I wish I had a Fantastic Four. I'd take a Fantastic Four with a grade of 4 and be happy that I had a Fantastic Four #1.
Exactly. Yeah, I like the Ultimate series too. The Ultimate Fantastic Four was fantastic. That was good. Actually, it's probably one of the best story writing.
The Ultimate Universe was hardcore.
Yeah.
See, I already can tell you like everything hardcore. And the Ultimate Universe was seriously hardcore.
Oh my god! Especially the Ultimate Avengers.
I remember like nobody saying they liked that book until it hit like issue 5, and all of a sudden the Hulk was raping and eating people.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh man, I'm all into this."
It's like, hold up, it got real. It got real, especially for me. Like most recent one where the Wasp got eaten by the Blob. I'm like, oh, this is pretty out there. This is the Wasp got eaten by really Blob is eating people now. And then just get murdered. But yeah, I like the Ultimate series. Like Ultimate Iron Man was good too. But Ultimate I love because a lot of people don't know like the Ultimate Fantastic Four is where Marvel Zombie starts from. See, but then again, like I said, it's the knowledge. I mean, I'm not as big as I used to. Now I just buy compilations and stuff because I don't have the time to wait each issue now. So I'm like, oh, when the book comes out, I'll read it. Like I think the most recent.
Man, getting trade paperbacks is great for people and stuff that can't get them every month.
Because I think the last trade I just purchased was the King in Black with the whole symbiote series, the Symbiote King.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But then again, see, to me that felt like Blackest Night. It felt like I'm like because this feels a little bit like how what Blackest Nights was for DC, where it's like, oh, it's all this and that, it's all dark. We got one per. I'm like, kind of familiar. But I love Blackest Night. I thought Blackest Night
companies copy each other all the time.
Yeah.
And at this point, there's hardly anything that could be considered an original story, especially after this time period. Almost anything and stuff you come up with. I remember when we used to get when we first started taking pitches with Terminus Media for our anthology book.
Mhm.
People would come to us with like different story ideas, and I swear, just about every story idea they came up with was like an episode that I've seen of the Twilight Zone. You
Or
know,
Twin Peaks.
so
Or Twin Peaks did it first.
you know, it's like an original idea is almost impossible to do. It's just basically, can you come up with a creative way of handling it?
Right. And
Something
no
that's
way,
different.
that's funny that you say that too, because to me, I feel like The Expanse did that with Star Trek and other sci fiction lore. It was like, yo, we're gonna take what's kind of dope out there and then modernize it and then make it our own. That's why I like The Expanse so much. Expanse is probably outside. I love Discovery. Sergeant Discovery is off the hook, but like Expanse is for its own like original value. I love The Expanse because it's just getting crazier and crazier.
But you can take the sci-fi out
Yeah.
and just deal with the drama.
Yeah, the political
All
stuff,
right.
yeah.
Like I said, The Expanse still works.
Yep.
It's basically it's a drama that just happens to be set in the backdrop of space.
Yep.
It would
Fantastic.
work either way.
But then again, like I feel like most sci-fi fiction, when they have that political scheme stuff going on, it makes it more brilliant. Like that's kind of like one of the reasons why even younger, when I used to watch Gundam Wing anime series, I liked it because the politicals. I'm like, oh, this shit's real. Like they got real issues they fight over. Like yeah, the Gundam fights are dope, but they actually have real issues they're fighting over. Like this is an expanse the same way. Like Mars and Earth hate each other, but at the same time, y'all did us dirty. So I'm like, oh, I like stories like that.
Oh, you got the Belters thrown in there too,
right? And I hate to say it because like the Belters are like the trash race of everybody. So everybody else is like, oh, we're proper. And then you got the Belters like, stay out there, stay out, get away from me.
But that's the whole thing about it. The Belters are like, we aren't trash.
Exactly.
We're just as good as you are. If we're not tougher and a hardier style.
Yep. Because we out here, really, we out here by ourselves.
Y'all better. You ain't better.
No, at all. At all. So speaking of which, let's start talking about a little bit of the lore of nerdom. So what did you think of the new? Did you finish the new Star Wars series?
The new Star Wars series?
Well, yeah. I mean, the 7, 8, 9, like Force Awakens. Yeah. What was your thoughts on
that? I think compared to episodes? What is it?
4, 5, 6.
What's the proper order? 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
It's like, see, remember, I'm old. I actually saw the original 3 Star Wars movies in the movie theater back in the 70s. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I saw the later 6 though.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, nothing's better than Empire. Nothing's better than Empire. Come on now.
No. It's like of all the new episodes out of all the new movies that have come out, Rogue One is my favorite.
Yes. Because it felt like the original though.
Is off the chain.
Yes. And it ended on a Debbie Downer. It was definitely a Debbie Downer.
The true prequel.
Yes. And it goes right into New Hope. It literally goes right into New Hope.
Right. Which has always surprised me when people were like, oh man, it's so sad they died. It's like, dudes, they already told you what happened to them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, how did you not know this was going to come in?
Right.
I mean, that's like somebody was like, oh man, that was so messed up when the Titanic sank. I'm like, what? You didn't know that the Titanic was going to sink? It's like, dude, really?
Or the movie Lincoln. Oh, you didn't know he was going to die? It's an alternate reality Lincoln.
But that's the sad part about it. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah. So what did you think of No Way Home?
Or they didn't observe.
Yeah. What did you think of No Way Home?
No Way Home?
Spider-Man.
Oh, guess what?
What's that?
There's a movie theater that I could walk to in like 3 minutes, and I still haven't seen No Way Home.
Say less. I don't want to spoil it then. I'm going to say we'll move on. We'll move on.
It was like, actually, before Kimberly reached out to me and stuff and told me about the casting you guys were doing this evening, I was finally going to like take the time to go watch Eternals.
Oh, really?
You good. You just watching on Disney Plus.
I have not been to the movie theater since the pandemic. And some stuff I'm just like, okay, I got to see it on some kind of big screen.
Yeah. Dune, you definitely got to see on the big screen. I was so
happy when I caught up with Shang-Chi, which I definitely enjoyed on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi was fun.
It was solid, but
it wasn't as good as like, Black Panther. But then again, to me, I really enjoyed Black Panther, but Black Panther wasn't as good as, Civil War, Captain America: Civil War.
No. I mean, Winter Soldier's still my top number one of the MCU. Winter Soldier, Thor Ragnarok. I mean, Infinity War is just, and I love Civil War. Civil War chase scene is golden. Like that is like the best chase scene in cinema because it's like wow.
What the thing about it to me is stuff is like Black Panther was more badass in Civil War
for that
than
4 minutes
was in his own movie.
Exactly. For 4 minutes, it was just like, yo, this dude is on a mission, and he won that mission.
And like I said, nobody was going to stop him from getting to where he wanted to go.
None.
Cap couldn't stop him. Bucky couldn't stop him. You know, he was unstoppable.
Yeah. It was fantastic, and it was super, super fantastic. But I mean, what else can we ask for? I mean, it's interesting.
Like I said, I'm definitely behind. I haven't seen the Spider-Man movie yet. I'm gonna try to get to it.
So this is my thing though. So we got Shang-Chi before we got a Heroes for Hire movie. That's what upsets me.
Well, we got Heroes for Hire on TV.
Yeah, it was right.
It's like, okay, I love the heck out of Luke Cage.
Luke Cage was fantastic. Yeah, Luke Cage was good.
Was bad.
The first season
of
Jessica,
you can have somebody who can't even do martial arts, or at least fake they can do martial arts.
It's bad.
Being cast at that part, I'm like, come on,
right?
Really?
That's like casting somebody for Aquaman that can't swim. like you don't do that. You don't do that. It's like what? Like, but that's the thing.
But that was one of the cool things about Shang-Chi is like, okay, if they had done where were the stunt coordinators and stuff for Shang-Chi when you're doing Iron Fist,
Right.
I know that Netflix probably wasn't throwing that serious money around like that, but still,
But the Punisher was good, and Daredevil was fantastic. Like that's some good storytelling right there. They literally took. I like Daredevil a lot. Especially the first
Netflix
season.
Marvel shows.
Yeah,
Daredevil definitely was excellent, like every season.
Yeah. See, I like the Punisher. I like the first season, Jessica Jones too. I didn't like the second season, but the first season was fantastic. Like what they did with Kilgrave.
I was always shocked that they even did Jessica Jones because I actually read the Alias story.
Yeah, same here.
When it came out by Bendis, and that was some really seriously hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
And when they said they were going to make a TV show out of that, I was like, yeah, you really are?
Yeah.
But it's almost like when they were talking about doing The Boys. It's like, okay, when you read the original material,
yeah,
you're like, it is so much more than it could ever show on TV.
Oh, way more violent. I mean, plus, they're not going to show what they did with Soldier Boy and all the different stuff. There's so much.
I mean, the violence and the debauchery in
yes.
the books,
it's
they could never show. I mean, the Boys was originally, put out by DC Comics under Vertigo.
Yeah, and that's where all the violence stuff goes.
And it was one of their big sellers. The content was so hardcore that DC was like, "No, y'all can take that, Dynamite. Well, why don't you go ahead and run with the rest of that series? We're gonna go ahead and separate ourselves from this."
Like you went there, like, well, yeah, we're going to let you guys do your own thing. Have fun, Dynamite. Great series though. So speaking of series, my probably I guess want to say still, I don't know if I consider indie, but I love Saga, and I'm happy it's finally coming back.
Oh yeah,
finally.
And plug here, we're actually going to be doing a midnight selling of Saga on the Tuesday technically Wednesday that it comes out.
See, that's great because the only thing about Saga though, I buy it in.
It's gonna be like a bunch of little giveaways and everything else going on with it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like Saga is like one like, okay, this is like this is what comics is about. Like this, you can't. I don't see ever Saga coming to a TV show because I don't think it's going to translate well, or even in a movie. It's just that damn good. Like a lot of that stuff is not going to transfer, and a lot of the stuff can't transfer over the TV.
But like I said, it is extremely popular. And the one thing I like about it and stuff is that it brings a lot of women into the shop.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Basically, some of my top sellers as far as female clientele have always been The Walking Dead and Saga.
Yeah. I mean, Fiona Staples does a great job of drawing. She's a great artist. She's a fantastic artist.
Yeah.
And Brian K. Vaughan, I mean, come on. Brian. I mean, I know he probably still, but yeah, because We's the Last Man just got canceled. But that was good. If you ever get a chance to watch it, I mean, the book is just as great. By the way, I saw because I have the first issue of Y, and it's literally going for like $500 right now. I'm like, really? The first issue of
Congrats.
But yeah,
you know, I remember thinking about all the people and stuff that when The Walking Dead first came out, they looked at it and was like, man, I ain't gonna buy that trash. And they're like sitting there thinking, man, I should have got that. You know, it's almost like one of my things and stuff. It's like I remember back in the 80s, multiple times I could have picked up Hulk 181 for like $35 and I didn't do it. You know, because I was like, oh, I already own Giant Size X-Men #1. Why do I need, you know, the first appearance of Wolverine? Because I just wasn't that big of a Wolverine fan.
Right.
I was more of a Storm fan, you know. It's like, hey, you know.
Well, that's kind of the same thing for the TMT comics back when it first came out too. Like before that even blew up, it was like very select stores had it back then. Like very select stores. When I was like, oh, you got that signed by this with Eastman? Oh, like, yeah. Like, I just want to.
Actually, strangely enough, I don't know how, but some kind of way I actually wound up with like first printings of like issues 2 and 3.
See, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm actually going back and trying to find issues of American Splendor.
I never read American Splendor.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Harvey was, I like it because I'm older now, so I can pick up on that different type of humor. And I'm just like, Harvey has some great humor. Like this stuff is fantastic.
Okay, I might have to check it out. Yeah. Like I said, I've never checked it out. You know, I remember like what was one of the books I had? I had the first appearance of Star-Lord. All right, and it was in a magazine, black and white magazine form with the black and white shading on the inside, the zipper tone. And I used to like let people borrow it all the time. I was so upset when I found out that book was like $1,000 some, and I know for a fact I've been like loaning it to people for years.
It's just floating.
Yeah, but just because I like the character, but all of a sudden it blew up because the character was in a movie. Well, and, you know, and it's weird how much people like, you know, speculate. Yeah. It's like all of a sudden it's like when you mentioned like Loki before, all of a sudden the books that introduced the time variants all of a sudden skyrocketed in value.
Exactly.
Because everybody and stuff all of a sudden was like speculating on it. And it's like, well, none of y'all cared about the book before, but because it makes an appearance on a TV show, you want it now? Well, like, why? What kind of sense does that make?
Well, that's the thing though, too. If you actually pay attention to like the MCU actually has a lot of characters that weren't really popular. And that's the thing. Like they've really taken all their non-popular characters and they just became super, super popular. I mean, that's what they try to do with Eternals, and Eternals it just wasn't for me. But I mean, they take all the characters that aren't popular, like how many people were coming?
Well, remember, Marvel had already sold the rights to their most popular characters to other studios.
Yep. Like such as the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man,
and X-Men.
X-Men.
So they had already sold the rights, so they had to go with the characters that they had.
Yeah.
Like technically, Iron Man is a third-tier character.
Thank you for saying that, Tony. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, he's a third-tier character. Thank you.
You know, but hey, he got a bunch of fame now.
Yep.
You know,
Think about
it's almost like, you know, we were talking about like if you watch the Scarlet, all of a sudden it's like, oh man, you know, that Monica Rambeau character is like, you know, is hot, and you know, I got to get the first appearance of her, and it's like, well, hey, were you reading Spider-Man back in the day?
Right, exactly.
You know, it's like, you know, can you be like, oh, well, hey, I picked this up for just $1, you know, when it came out because I was doing what? I was reading Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep.
You know, so I just happened to have the first appearance of the true first female Captain Marvel. Okay, but that's because I was actually reading comics and not speculating on comics.
Because that's funny because you have people like, oh, I go to the movies to get my knowledge. It's like I read the comics, so I know my knowledge from there.
Well, I remember when the X-Men movies first came out, and we went to the movie theater that at the time was on Memorial Drive, doesn't exist anymore. And we did like a trivia contest. All right, as long as the trivia question was from the X-Men cartoon, people knew it.
Of course.
If we were asking something from the comic books, only customers of mine who read comics were able to answer them.
Yep.
You know, And that's how a lot of people and stuff still get, their thing is like the meme that's out there. It's like, oh, you want to talk to me about Wolverine, but all you've done is watch the Fox movies.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you can't talk to me about that character. I've been reading it since the very beginning. You
Right.
know,
There's more than Wolverine, just Hugh Jackman people. It's like it's just more
right?
like certain
It's like, hey, I might not own X-Men 181, but hey, I read it. You know, I mean, not X-Men 181, Hulk
Oh,
181.
fuck you, yes.
But I read it.
Right. And that's when he had little ears, y'all. He had little ears. Oh, and by the way, for people who need to know, the blue suit is the old suit. The orange suit is his newer suit, but people don't know that. They think that's the old suit, but whatever. I always get
I never
argued with
liked the
people
brown
about that.
suit.
I love the brown suit. The brown suit for me is like, they make sense. That looks like more like a Wolverine. Not this blue and orange, but But I like his X-Force suit the best though. I like especially the newer one where it's all black and silver. I like that suit a lot. He's got the red eyes, but
That was pretty cool.
it's tactical. It makes sense.
Well, I mean, the
Speaking of
whole
comic,
team was tactical.
Right.
speaking of comic books and stuff, I was thinking about the comic book conventions that are coming out this year. I know, is MomoCon still going to be doing this thing, you think? And what other ones do you think you'll be participating in? Because I know that you actually not only have a store, but you usually uh, get a vendor spot or participate in different comic cons and stuff.
Well, right now, the last convention we did was the Atlanta Comic Convention that was down at the World Congress Center.
Mhm.
We actually went down there and ran their gaming room
Oh,
for them,
nice.
for all the board gaming and card gaming and everything that was going on.
Mhm.
As far as like upcoming shows, I'm still kind of curious about what shows are going to actually fire off. It's, like I actually attended Dragon Con, but they basically, kind of bribed me about that, but they wanted me to come down and moderate some panels. And I was like, well, I don't know, COVID, da 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 da. Like, well, we got a panelist so we can put you on with Lou Gossett Jr. I'm like, okay, I'll be there, you know. 'Cause I never met Lou Gossett Jr. And I'm like, okay, he's a legend. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yes, I'm willing to risk my life to go meet Lou Gossett Jr.
Yep.
I've had my shots. I'm gonna go down there with my mask, with backup mask and hand sanitizer. But yeah, I'm gonna hang with Lou Gossett Jr. You
That's
know,
awesome.
but as far as like the other shows coming up, I just don't know who's actually gonna fire off because I know there's supposed to be a festival that some of the comic people are supposed to be going to down in Florida, this coming up weekend. And I heard that just got put on pause again because of COVID.
Mm.
So I'm still kind of like waiting to see, you got to wait and see where COVID is, before shows actually fire. I basically have had my booth fee for MomoCon riding for the last couple of years. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons and stuff I
Well,
haven't tried to do like a hard date yet
yeah.
for bringing the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo back because I don't know what COVID is going to do or what variant of COVID is going to be out there.
Right. You got the
Right
Unicron
now,
version out right now. I call it
yeah,
Unicron. Transformers Blerd for people.
I'm on the board and I'm helping with a new show called the was it Urban Nerd Con, which is going to be in the city of Montgomery, and they just had a big press conference about that last week. And it's basically, the council board, for the city is like all behind it. It's planned, for July. They've already got like a lineup of like some serious heavy hitter guests.
Yeah.
And, but at this point and stuff, it's so far away that you're hoping that COVID will be a little bit under control to make sure that it fires off with no problems.
Yeah, speaking of which, I remember when COVID started and you were really strict in the store and you were offering online orders and local deliveries just so that people can get their, game on. What
Oh
kind
yeah.
of things are you doing now? Are you still doing online orders and pick up store orders?
Oh yeah. Basically, when we were shut down for 2 weeks during the beginning of the COVID outbreak, and we basically used those 2 weeks to basically inventory most of the products and stuff in the store and get them up on the website so that people could actually order. And we were doing curbside service, and we were actually like hiring Uber drivers to actually deliver products, to people's homes.
Oh wow.
Now that things have laxed and people, want to get out the house, we're one of the stores that still is enforcing, masks to be worn here in the store, even when you're here for activities. And unfortunately, every week I still get people huffing and puffing because we're making them wear a mask. But I'm like, okay, even if you don't care about yourself, my whole thing is like you should still be concerned about the health and safety of
Others,
others.
exactly.
You
Others.
know, so it's like, and my whole thing about it is like, shoot, I'm old and fat. It's like I ain't got time to be getting sick, and you are not going to spend enough money in the store, for me to be, sick
Right.
and laid up in the hospital and possibly dying because you don't want to wear a mask.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm pretty much like, I don't care about losing whatever money, you know, you were going to spend. My health and the health of my customers are more important to me than whatever you were going to spend, on your debit card.
Exactly. Now, speaking of customers, though, I've also noticed that I've talked to other comic book stores. They've actually since they actually got a benefit from COVID because more parents were being with their kids now, so they started going to more comic book shops to actually get back into their hobbies. Did that happen with you too?
Well, I don't know about that as far as like comics are concerned,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but
for
what we
comics and
saw a
games and
big
stuff too.
uptake on were like model kits, like
Yeah.
Gundam models.
Yep.
So many people got into to Gundam models
Gunpla.
during the lockdown, and also suddenly everybody had time to finish up their Warhammer models, and so all of a sudden and stuff, we were moving paints and models left and right, you know, and people who were with people who they actually trusted started getting together and having like their own little board gaming groups,
Nice.
you know. So whereas we stopped doing board gaming events here at the store, you know, people finding like little groups of friends that they trusted to play with
Yeah.
skyrocketed.
That's impressive.
And you also were you had built up a Discord, which I see that you still are actively, giving updates to different inventories that come in. Uh, Tell me more about how your experience with Discord is.
Well, actually, I am still a rookie with Discord. It's like my using of Discord is, basically when I get with, my buddies and stuff, and we're playing like video games together. I'm using Discord to kind of like just talk to them while we play on the video games. If the video games don't have it where you can communicate with them. Basically, I've had like, staff members and customers. They're the ones doing most of the communicating on Discord. I actually cut the volume down on that thing because I got tired of hearing it chirp. You know,
Ding, ding,
you know. So
ding.
like I said, I'm old school. I still use this thing right here to call people on. Okay,
You make phone calls, sir? Wow.
I
Whoa.
make phone calls. Okay, which is really weird and stuff. It's like because people be like, why'd you call? Why'd you just text? Is there an emergency? It's like now you don't should only call if it's an emergency. You know, so I'm still using like Facebook,
Yeah.
and
I
we've got
mean,
the Facebook hooked up to the Instagram.
yep. I mean, back in
So
my day,
even
Tony, we
though
read
I
the
technically
newspaper.
don't make Instagram posts,
Yeah.
I make Facebook posts that turn into Instagram
Yep.
posts. So I'm good to go.
Exactly. But back in my day, we used to read a newspaper, have a cup of coffee, and then talk to people.
A newspaper. Most people wouldn't even know what that is. Like, what?
Just to go out
That's
and get
one of
the
the great things
newspaper.
though about comics.
Yeah.
Comics don't translate as well on the screen.
That is true. That is
Comics are
very
still
true.
like a tactile experience.
Yeah. Because
You
even right
know,
now, but I mean,
so where
like,
magazines and newspapers have gone away, comics are still something that you can sell.
and I understand that completely because, like, even like right now, like I'm selling my digital comic, but like I'll get more sales for the physical version of my digital. Well, I'm like, really? It's cheaper for the digital though. But no, everybody comic, it's the touch, feel, taste. You can touch, you can feel, you can
Well,
taste it.
where's the collectability?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I got this digital file, and
Don't say it like that.
I
It's
can
not
sell this
hurting,
digital
Tony.
file. They're like, no, you can't.
But it's saved on your computer in the cloud. You can access it anytime. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love looking at comics on my tablet, but I like looking at older stuff that I've read before, like with my
Like I
comicology
said,
stuff.
I'm still just waiting. All it's gonna take is one good solar flare to just lick the earth, and all that information is gone.
Gotta go back to the
It's
hard stuff.
gone.
Gotta go back to the Dewey Decimal System. Gotta go back to everything.
It's like,
Little
this is a
Wikipedia.
book?
Well, I gotta find section A, number B at the actual. Well, you actually gotta go to the library again now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to open up a book of worms, but speaking of translating well, between the both of you, which comic book or series you felt like it translated or adapted well to either a movie or a series?
I'll let Tony go first.
Well, see, I was just gonna be a wise ass and say nothing. Okay.
See,
The book is better for everything.
Okay. Now I'm gonna fight you on certain. I'm gonna fight you on certain ones though.
Okay, go for it.
So, like for example, I thought that translated very, very well was Doom Patrol.
Nah, the show still ain't quirky enough. The book was really, really quirky.
Okay. And then also, I like the rendition that they did of Watchmen. I thought that was fantastic.
Really?
You didn't like that whole season? That was great rendition.
I read, the original Watchmen series, when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading issue by issue.
Yeah. I'm talking about you didn't like the TV show? I'm not talking about the movie. Justice. I'm talking about the TV show, not the movie, the TV show. That had Regina King.
That was a completely original story. That had nothing to do with any comic story.
But I'm saying, the source material still came from the Watchmen. They just did a rendition of it. I was saying it was just a rendition. I love that. I thought that was great.
Okay. Let's say I had to disagree with whether that would even count. I don't think that would even count because there was no original source material for the Regina King story.
But everything was still based off the original Watchmen, though. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. A lot of all that stuff was still based on the original. It was original content still. Then they just brought it post nowadays. I mean, post this era, and it's just that backstory telling was great.
I love that Watchmen series. I was rather upset that they weren't going to do more of it.
And same here. I'm like, really? And then HBO's like, yo, anytime you want a season 2, we ready. But certain things, like, it's just so good. It's like, that's fantastic. I'm like, I was just so good, so freaking good. And that's the same thing with Doom Patrol. Like, Doom Patrol was just real good. And I feel like nobody's watching it. And I'm liking what they're doing with Peacemaker so far. I'm liking Peacemaker.
I've watched the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker, and I'm already thinking that Vigilante is like the Urkel of the show.
Yep.
he is definitely more interesting than the title character.
Yeah. It almost makes you feel like the show they need a spin-off show called Vigilante more than Peacemaker.
Oh, the only problem with Peacemaker, it could be more popular.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like it's John Cena being John Cena, and that's the issue with me.
I'm sorry, John Cena cannot act, and because of the cast that's around him is so superior to him, it's merely making it stand out that he can't act. But hey, he might get there. The Rock wasn't the greatest when he first started off.
No.
Now, I'll watch almost anything with The Rock in it.
Yeah. John Cena is definitely the new Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen can act.
Oh my God, he was just not a good Anakin for me. He's just and I love Revenge because I'm a huge Sith person, but Revenge, I'm just like, stop talking.
But see, you still think those are good movies. I don't think they're good movies.
Well, see, it's certain lore. Like, because at the end of the day, it's certain lore for me, and I love Sith. So, like, for me, my favorite movies, especially for Star Wars, is Revenge, Rogue, and Return. Not Return. Yeah, Empire, then Rogue, and then Revenge. Those are my favorite 3 movies in the series. Nothing's better than Empire.
That's it. I'm just pretty much like the original 3 movies that came out in Rogue One. Those are my top 4.
Yep. And then what about are you a Star Trek person?
There's somebody on the side over here laughing about that.
I mean, because I love Discovery. Discovery is fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, I am definitely a Star Trek person. I've watched all the shows. I've read novels.
Yes, same here.
And to today, my still favorite one is Deep Space Nine: The Dominion War.
Exactly, because you know why? Because Cisco slapped Q.
I give credit to Babylon 5.
Yep.
For making Deep Space Nine as great as it was.
Yeah.
Because Babylon 5 forced them to up the ante.
Yep.
To make Deep Space Nine great.
Yeah, Cisco was a beast. Any person that slaps a Q gets my respect.
Oh, the Cisco.
Right.
But remember now, when you're a demigod, you got balls like that.
Right. I mean, plus, come on now, dude. I mean, the Dominion War, like nothing beats that.
The Dominion War is awesome.
Nothing beats.
But I'm pretty much like, okay, wait a minute, hold it. You gonna give a brother a new rod, and then he gonna go and pimp it out, and then you gonna go ahead and let him shave his head and grow the goatee. Oh, right. It's on now.
It's like I'm here, people.
It's like in the early episodes of it. Like I said, I'm one of those people and stuff too. It's like as big of a Star Trek fan as I am, I basically say that the first season of every Star Trek show is all right. The only
Discovery was good.
Off pretty rough.
Yeah, Discovery's first season was good.
It was kind of Second season was much better.
Yeah, I mean, I just like what they did with the Klingons. Like we finally got to see more of the Klingon stuff because that was like kind of on hiatus because Next Gen was all like we're all friends with the Klingon, but now that was like no, we got beef, we got problems.
Yeah, but see, for a lot of us, long-term fans and stuff, the greatest run of Klingons again was on Deep Space Nine.
Of course.
That's when we got to see some serious Klingons.
Yeah, some serious Klingon going on.
Right, when we got to Klingons, we do some of the Klingons, it's on.
I am liking Upper Decks though. I think Lower Decks is super funny. I like where they're going with that. That's because it's in that Next Gen world. I like that a lot. What about you?
Well, I love it. It's basically this is the only track where we're getting to actually see stuff that happened after the Dominion War.
Yep. And then also Rikers is
that. Then even it is like some years.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got Captain Riker.
Still standing on stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. But I love Picard. Woo! That was a tearjerker, man. That series, I'm like, so many memories.
I'm still waiting, for season 2, so we can see some John Delancey and some Whoopi Goldberg.
Woo! Right.
That's what I'm really waiting on.
Hugh and Ghana is about to be a wrap. Mm-hmm. That's the only person he fears. He's like, why is she here?
But this is supposed to be like a more mature Q now.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely waiting to see what the more mature Q was like.
But can a Q really be mature? That's gonna be the question. Because, oh man, like I don't. I see him snapping all the time. That's all I see happen. It's just there you go. Yeah, I'm a Trekkie. I'm a huge Trekkie. That's something I grew up with my pops. My pops got me into that. And so I started with the OC. I mean, I always start with the original series and then work my way up. And original series, it's just good for gander when I watch it.
I still love the original series, and I will be one of those people that is gonna go see when they show in the theaters the Wrath of Khan again.
Of course,
when it comes out later this year.
But see, that's the other thing. Into Darkness was a great retelling of that, though. I love Into Darkness.
All right, I'm gonna hang up now.
You don't like Into Darkness, really? Get out of here!
I gotta go.
Wow. No. Let's be real, Tony. Let's be real. There's no way in hell that Kirk could beat Khan. Let's be real. He beat him in the original one. He beat him because he outsmarted him. That was it. But actually, physical contact, no way in heck. No way.
Hey.
Yeah.
You don't know how powerful the plastic pipe is. Okay. the double fisted Kirk smash and the plastic pipe to the back. You know,
That's enough to take out a Khan.
apparently.
Because I love that. I love the fact that Spock chased after him. Like, yes, this makes sense. Kirk cannot beat Khan in person. I'm a god among men. Like, people want to beat me, Kirk.
I'm sorry. It's like, as much as I love Cumberbatch, and I definitely love him as Sherlock Holmes, he is no Ricardo Montalban, and he is not Khan.
No, he didn't have the chest. He didn't have the chest out. We know this. Tony. It's all about the chest. Ricardo Montalban's like, make sure it's open right here.
And Ricardo Montalban showed that he could bring it wearing a suit.
Yep.
It's like, it's like, what's the meme of him, as Mr. Rourke holding the glass, saying, "Welcome to City Alpha 5." It's like, the man is just smooth.
Yes.
Okay. Cumberbatch, he ain't that smooth.
But he was calculated, though.
Maybe Antonio Banderas might have been able to pull off a Khan.
I see cut.
But Cumberbatch, no. No.
Oh man, I can talk about Trek all day. So,
as a matter of fact, what is it? Actually, after seeing Antonio Banderas recently in, what was that movie I just saw him in? Oh yeah, I just saw him. During the snow day, I watched the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This cast is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much like, wait a minute. I get to hear Samuel L. Jackson's voice along with, I just went brain dead. What's the other actor?
Selma Hayek?
No.
Antonio.
Oh, you talking about no, because whatchamacallit was in it? Morgan Freeman.
Oh my goodness. Morgan Freeman.
Yep, because that was his dad.
I get to hear the voice of Morgan Freeman and the voice of Samuel L. Jackson in the same movie.
Yep.
This is just awesome.
Yeah, God and Julius in one movie.
Okay, who is smoother? It was like it was more like who had the smoothest voice.
Yeah.
But no, that show was very funny. It was very funny and actually had a lot of really good action. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I definitely suggest seeing it.
It's a good new series. If you have not seen the Hitman Bodyguard series, those first two movies are great. I mean, the second was better. The second was just off. They gave zero hex. Especially when you find out like Morgan Freeman's his dad, you was like, stop.
Oh, like I said, it was awesome. So I'm like, what? And they squeezed Antonio Banderas in there too.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, Antonio Banderas, and Samuel L. Jackson.
Right, and Selma Hayek. It's like, is this Desperado 2?
Oh, this is so much better than Desperado 2. So much better.
Oh man. So what else do you have planned for the rest of the year? Because I know we're towards the end of our show. I mean, I can keep talking all day with you, Tony, because I love the geek world. I love it a lot. But what do you have planned coming up for the shopping in your world?
Well, right now and stuff, if anybody knows any people that own any retail spaces, we're actually looking, to move. Because sooner or later they're gonna close down the mall.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna put up condos that they can sell for $500,000. Because there's no money in retail, so they're gonna make money selling it, condos to everybody. So we're looking for a new location. Right now we've got 3,400 square feet, and you already know we're like one of the most diverse stores, here in the city. But I need a little bit more space. Yeah. So if I can find any landlords that aren't asking for crazy rent, I'm looking for a new place to to move the shop, so we can keep giving people all that they want.
I gotta be real quick though. I'm saying because one thing I hated about living when I lived in downtown Atlanta, there was no comic book shop in downtown Atlanta, like nowhere.
What about that place called Oxford?
That's way out.
That's like
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Buckhead. Exactly. That's Buckhead. So
it's tiny. You can't do nothing in there.
Can't do nothing in there. Exactly. Like I feel like if you were in like that area, I mean, there's even like in the kind of outskirts, like next to like Grant Park and stuff, like an area like that, I feel like your shop would win because everybody's like, finally, a local comic book shop.
Well, like I said, where's the buildings? I've got no problem with it.
Okay, perfect. Because
I need some square footage.
Right, exactly.
If somebody can find me 5,000 square feet at a good price, I'm all for it.
All right.
That is
We got
fantastic.
challenges.
Exactly.
And like I said, and if you want to support the store, even if you're not local, you go to challengesgames.com. We ship, and we've got a very good selection of products.
Yes, they do. Very good selection. How's your gunplay section going right now? Have you got to restock your gunpla, your Gundam model stuff?
Well, we've got as much of a restock as Bandai will allow us to have. Right now, like I said, the supply and demand is like completely flip flopped. There is so much of a demand for Gundam products that they can't keep up with it. You know, Even though we order directly from them,
Yeah.
What's available to get here in the States is nowhere near what people are clamoring for.
Oh wow.
I can sit there and be like, oh, well, I want 20 units of that.
They're like, all
I'll
right,
be
next
lucky
year.
if I get 5.
They're like, we'll send you 2. I need 20. We'll
Yeah,
send you 2.
that's basically the way it is. And,
So
and then, like I said, transportation is like really, really slow.
yeah,
It's taking like sometimes a week and a half when they actually ship me something and charge me for it. It might show up a week and a half later.
yes. Now, actually, this will be the last question I'm gonna ask you. How is it dealing with distributors in that world? Like, how's it dealing with Magic? How's it dealing with Bandai? Like, how is that? Is it good, bad? Is it love take?
Well, right now and stuff is, how much is stuff in control? A lot of times I can't even put it on the companies because I've had products and stuff where UPS or FedEx will say, oh, we're going to deliver this on Monday. And you hit the tracking number and it says it's going to be delivered on Monday. It still might not show up till Wednesday or Thursday.
Wow, especially for like release day comics too.
Oh,
Oh, look at that face.
Oh, that went, I went to another row, y'all. I went to another row.
He's like, oh no.
Like, oh, you don't want to talk about that.
especially now and stuff that because during the pandemic, both Marvel and DC decided that they were going to split from having, Diamond as their distributors. So it used to be and stuff. I only had like one company that I had to get mad at for not delivering the books on time. Now, I get mad at like Lunar and Penguin Random House for not giving my DC and Marvel books, and everything else basically comes from Diamond.
Mm.
So, I'm getting shipments instead of like one big shipment. I'm getting like, 3, 4, 5 different shipments because sometimes stuff doesn't even show up when it's supposed to. It's just like I got like, I just got like a new shipment of posters in today. And, FedEx delivered, boxes 1 and 2, but box 3, which actually has
The stuff you need.
the display stand, didn't show up.
Wow. Poor baby.
Wow, that's gotta be irritating. Like, oh, we got the books, but we know where to put them.
Yep.
And then that's the thing. Like, then the distributor finds that you didn't put it up right. It's like, well, you gotta ding you for not putting it up right because you have to have this pop display.
Yeah, people know that ain't gonna happen. But no, that's the thing is now it's stuff like you don't know when stuff's gonna show up. I get customers all the time and be like, "Hey, well, we got that on the way. When is it gonna show up?" I'm like, "I don't want to lie to you. It's just gonna get here when it gets here,
Right.
but it's on the way."
Well, that's the thing though too, because like, do you have like a subscription set up for people? Like, that's how at my comic book shop, I have subscriptions, so he just pulls everything and it's text me or call me when they come in. You do that? Do you do that there?
No, we don't call nobody. No.
No.
Now ours is actually digital. We actually are set up on the pull box service.
Yeah.
Where people are able to go and stuff to the Previews World website and basically click on what books they want to get in, and then we just get them in for you and put them in your folder.
Nice.
And like I said, basically, we have everything ready on Wednesday because we're closed on Tuesday to the public, so we can like process the new merchandise. But even with like the split, companies were doing like weird stuff. All of a sudden, DC, instead of their books coming out on Wednesday, they're like, well, hey, now you can sell ours on Tuesday. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm supposed to put your books out on Tuesday and have people come in and then put everybody else's books out on Wednesday and hope they come back in again. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing all that. Everybody's book's still going to be on Wednesday.
And this is it, man. This is the last question. I got to see that collection that you got right now. I got to see the collection. I know you got some collections right there hiding. So show me what you got, what you're working with.
What would you want to see? Like me personally, I like to, collect the first appearances of, Black characters. I always have, and have like no interest in, trying to sell them. That's what we were talking about earlier about the whole thing about getting it, getting it pressed and getting it graded. And I'm just like, why? I remember, back I was at one of the shows, and I had my first appearance of the Silver Surfer, and this was years ago. And they were like, "Oh, well, yeah, give us $50 and we'll grade it for you." I was like, "Say what? You want me to give you $50 so you can grade my book?"
Graded.
I'm like, okay, if I was about to sell it, which I'm not, okay, you know, the whole concept that I'm gonna pay you $50, and then because you graded it, suddenly the book is worth 4 times what it's listed for in the price guide. I said I think it's stupid,
Yeah.
you know. But like I said, I collected these books because I wanted to own them, and not because I was trying to make money off of them.
Yeah.
If I was all about the collectability of stuff, it's like, why even have a comic shop? I'd be like, I just hoard all this stuff to myself and sell it all on eBay.
Right.
Why should I sell anything to you?
Yeah. I mean, actually, got some comic book stores doing that now. They're like, oh, well, I'm gonna go through my collection, and they got stuff on eBay. They got it graded now. I mean, one place I go to, they have a whole wall of all the grades that you can buy right there now.
Yeah.
Oh, show us. I wanted to see the titles that you had. You remember you showed us before we were,
What you want to see?
I want to see
What you want to
the.
see?
I
You
don't
want to
know.
see what is it? What you want to see the first appearance of Black Lightning?
Oh.
All right. What else can we see here? Let's see. Oh, you ever seen a Black Goliath? He hasn't been on it. He only was like made a little appearance in an Ant-Man movie.
Yep.
But you haven't really got a chance to see him.
Right.
You watched Scarlet Witch, right? First appearance of Monica Rambeau. Let's see. Oh, first appearance of Luke Cage.
It was for hire.
Hero number 1.
Sweet Christmas.
What's this right here? It's the first appearance of somebody. Who is this character?
I don't know, some type of cat creature.
Yeah. Oh, it's Fantasy Four 52. First appearance of the Black Panther. Oh, and let's see. Since we all mentioned Black Panther, but everybody's like, well, what about Black Panther number 1? It's you mean this?
Yes.
Wow.
Done by the great Jack King Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
But of course his first appearance was also drawn by Jack Kirby.
Right. That's what Kirby does. He rests in
You
peace.
said you had some books you wanted to show off too, right?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna show them off. I'm gonna show off a little bit. I got a little little Doom here.
And
Jim Lee.
you like the new Captain America Winter Soldier, there's the first appearance of the Falcon.
Yep. A little bit. Oh man, Fantastic Four is so good. So real quick, so as we leave, I gotta ask you, who's your favorite villain? Who's your favorite hero? And that's gonna be it for this podcast. Or should I give you a top 5?
Okay, villain, it's got to be Dr. Doom.
Thank you.
I'm a humongous Fantasy Four fan, so my number 1 villain has to be Dr. Doom. And my favorite anti-hero would be the Submariner.
Of course, Namor. Of course, Emperor's Rex.
But like I said, I'm coming from the viewpoint of somebody who's like a humongous Fantasy Four fan, and the Fantasy Four introduced me to some of my favorite characters. And so right now is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
As you can just see by looking at my collection,
right.
would definitely be Black Panther.
So no DC villains?
Actually, and like I said, it's basically coming from the viewpoint of somebody who's like started off as a heavy Marvel fan.
Yeah.
I followed George Perez and Marv Wolfman when they left Marvel and went over to DC and started the new Teen Titans.
Yep.
And that's where I started my love affair with characters that they created. So it would definitely be for a villain, Deathstroke to Terminator. And I'm not talking about these Deathstrokes that they've been showing on, these
On
live
Arrow.
action CW shows. I'm talking about the Deathstroke who can defeat the Teen Titans and has defeated the Justice League of America.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that Deathstroke.
Yeah. And also
That's
defeated
the
Batman
Deathstroke
too.
I love. Oh, when you can beat the entire Justice League,
Right.
defeating, Batman is not that big of a deal. Batman has been defeated by Lady Shiva.
Yeah.
Batman won't even fight Dick Grayson.
Nope.
Because he knows that Dick will put it on him. Okay. Like I said, Batman is not the baddest fighter in any way, shape, or form in the DC universe.
No. None at all.
No. He's skilled.
Yeah.
But no, he's not, no. He's not beating anybody. He's got a contingency plan for everybody.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Just like, even though just like the Black Panther has a contingency plan for everybody. They're like, well, hey, T'Challa, can you take out Galactus? Yes, we can. We have a contingency plan for Galactus.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you show up in Wakanda,
Batman has a contingency plan for Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and Superman.
Yeah.
But in a straight up, I ain't got nothing planned fight, nah, Batman ain't all that. And I'm gonna stick out there and stuff too. It's like Batman cannot beat Captain America.
No, he can't. Right. Batman's a human. Captain America's a super soldier. Never forget that, people. Even if Batman blocks his attack, he still won't get hurt by it. Yeah, I'm a super soldier. This is what I do. Batman still feels pain. He's not a mutant, y'all.
Oh.
What we got?
Since we're talking about other stuff, it's like, show this off.
Yes.
I just leave it at that,
He's like, here you go.
I want to have people drooling all over the place,
Giant size. Yeah, I love what they're doing with X-Men now.
And these are books that I had before. I say before I had a comic shop. So the whole argument of like, oh, it's no fair, you got a comic shop. It's like, nah, I collected all this stuff beforehand.
It's before the comics came in.
Yes.
Once again, Tony, thank you for your time. This has been a great experience. Thank you so much. We said, make sure you guys visit out Tony's shop out in North DeKalb Mall. Super side, CNC Games. I love it. Thanks for everything for it. You have a great day, sir. Thank you for jumping the podcast.
All right, you guys have a good one.